Hi, I'm Tanya A. Prince, and with me here is Rachel Ehring, and we are the developers of the strategic business for therapists. And today we have a very special guest, which is Solveig. So welcome, Solveig.
Thank you.
And the reason Solveig's come on this call is that Solveig, you are a therapist, yeah? And I think you wanted to market yourself using things like Facebook Live, didn't you? Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I can. Ever since the Corona came on, I needed to turn my head around and find other ways when everything was closing down. So I I've never been too happy to talk Facebook Live like this, and but I needed to get my head around, and I went to courses and in groups and training, and got my stuff, the camera and the microphone and everything. So I was all set to go on there. Since Corona is hit the country, everything was going very slow with delivering. So I didn't end up having all my equipments until June. But June 2020, I was I had all set. I was ready to go.
Yeah, and I know she did some work with a business program with yourself, didn't she, Rachel?
She did. We did a a short 4-week program, just brainstorming business. Really, we were having a bit of a real good brainstorm about how we wanted to shift our businesses forward and move forward. And Solveig came on that, and that's sort of how we connected. Really, it was a really beautiful 4 weeks, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So what did you discover from that course for you?
You gave me tools, and I got new ideas on how to do it, and but I was all set to go. And I remember we also had this practice with we were doing a Facebook Live in the group, but I was struggling coming in.
Yeah, there were the connection problems because Solveig's over in Norway, aren't you? So we had quite a few connection issues at the time, which was a shame.
I was so happy. I couldn't go on.
Oh, the truth comes out there, you see.
Oh, that excuse was so welcome.
Yeah, I think if we're looking, I just going to pull this to bits a little bit here. Yeah, you know what I find is Solveig invested all this money in the technology. Yeah, people don't usually have a problem putting money out there. Yeah. All right, so they'll invest all this money buying stuff, because they're not facing the block. Yeah, they don't have a block about spending the money and getting the equipment in, and they may not even be aware they have a block at that point because they think, oh yeah, when I get that equipment, everything will be fine. And you laid it out for her, Rachel, as you will in our kind of course that we're doing. You laid it out how to do this, how to get online. But what Solveig is saying is she wasn't disappointed that she couldn't get into that. And that indicates pretty nice big block. Yeah, because the fact she couldn't get into that saved her.
You're ridiculous.
Yeah. So, I had a little conversation with her, about the project we're doing here, the Strategic Business for Therapists project. Now I says, would you like to have a little look at that? Because I was curious. There was just curiosity getting me there. And, I did an interview which people can listen to, but it was quite fascinating there on that interview. Because what did you ask me to do? What did I think it was? Kick your what was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
That. I will leave that open to people's interpretation, but she said I need a little bit of a push forward on this. Yeah.
I need someone to kick my
She's
butt.
very good at that.
Yeah, so we had a lovely chat about that. And I was doing is picking out the blocks, the emotional blocks, but equally looking at what she needed to learn skills wise. Because Rachel would have taught it really nicely, as in step by step by step. But if you got that blocker, you'll find a way to sabotage that.
And it did time itself to perfection, because it was literally just as sort of the sessions were ending that
Yeah.
we would try and get Solveig on again, and it just wasn't happening due to the technical issues at the time.
Well, you
Yeah.
have to wonder, wasn't it, whether Solveig's just sending that signal out to the world.
Energy is fabulous, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then time went by, and everything was floating out there, and
Yeah. Yeah,
mm,
'cause I didn't speak with her at that period in time. I spoke with her like a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? About 2 weeks ago.
a couple of weeks ago, yes,
Yeah.
because
We had,
yeah,
well, you go on. Mhm.
yeah, because ever since June I have been trying to prepare myself to go online there, doing Facebook Live, and go out and tell the world, hey, I'm here. Look at me. To tell the people what I can offer and what I can do for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Every time I find things are coming in my way to stop me from going out there, like a big doorstep.
In fact, that's how you described it to me when in the
Yeah,
interview, wasn't it? It was like this big doorstep that
yeah,
blocked you. And although you also said I probably need to refresh on the skills because it's now been a period of time and things change, I actually, because you'd asked me to give you a little bit of a push forward, and I know how to do that. I actually got you to do some work on that doorstep outside
mhm,
of the session. But I not only that, I said, and I want you to decide when you're going to do it, how long you're going to do it for, and I want a little text at the back end of that to know you've done it, and also to know when your next session will be. Yeah.
yeah,
Because it's about accountability, isn't it? It's easy to kind of say, I know I need to work on this, and then somehow things get in your way because we don't always want to do that self work. Yeah.
yeah.
I think it was the next day. I think it was the next day. Was it the next day you did the work on that? Mhm.
Yeah, the next day or the next couple within the next couple of days, because we decided a time, a
Yeah.
day, and an exact time
Mhm.
from that hour to that hour you're going to work on it, and I said yes, I promise you I will work on it then. And then you said, well, you need to give me a feedback on what what came up in that session.
But
Okay, you
yeah,
all got it on tape, so there is no way of escape.
yeah, there's that as well, the blackmail tape of when we had this discussion. But what I was setting up was accountability and commitment as well. So you committed to a time, so it was going to get done. And you were giving me feedback on where you got with that. And just give us your latest news, because I think it was today. It could have been yesterday. All time's melding for me at the
Yeah.
moment. But just give us a feedback on what you've just done. Yeah, that lovely text or message you sent over to me.
I sent you a message last night,
Mhm.
and I said, Tanya, you know what? I did my first Facebook Live yesterday, and today I did my second one.
Fantastic.
And
That's so
I
wonderful.
remember just sitting there with a big smile on my face. I was with my, I was there on the sofa, sitting there with a smile on my face, looking at this message. I think it was 5 minutes. So I just doing that. And then I text back in and said something like, brilliant.
Yes.
But how do you feel now, Solveig?
Well, I feel so proud. I feel so happy. I mean, was it so easy? I mean, that little work I did for that hour really did major happening to me.
Mm. And
And
did you have, yeah, go on.
I used EFT techniques and some NLP and yeah,
Mhm.
transformation work.
Yep. So you solidly worked on those blocks that we identified in that little step you had.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
And
mhm.
that was the funniest thing happening. Um, I have been working on a lot of stuff on myself, but that was very special one because I was asking myself, what is stopping you from going out there? And then I saw this huge doorstep, like
Mm.
this high, and I couldn't get over. But there was one possibility to get over. I was, and then I was transformed into a snail in a snail house, and then I could get out the door, but I could not bring my snail house with me, so I had to go out the door without my snail house. So I was outside there like a naked snail.
I love that.
Hmm.
Very metaphorical, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and,
what happened.
and then I asked the snail, what need to happen to you in order to get confident, to because you cannot go out there being all naked and embarrassed. So this snail transformed again into a caterpillar, and the caterpillar, he climbed up in a tree and hang there, upside down, getting ready. You know what comes out from those cocoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a butterfly. It's a butterfly coming out. And I came out
How beautiful is that? And look
flying.
at you. You are the butterfly. It's beautiful.
It's such a beautiful metaphor for transformation, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
Changing from the snail to the butterfly, and
Mm.
then doing your presentations, and that feeling of being so proud of yourself because you're clearing those blocks in a very beautiful metaphorical way. And obviously you did that work, you committed
Mm.
to it, and you went for it. But once you cleared that, was it quite easy then to move forward with the Facebook lives?
Mm. Yes.
Yeah. I,
So,
yeah.
mm.
Yeah. I'd always say there is an order and sequence to this, isn't it? Yeah. You can push against resistance, which makes it very hard, or you can clear the resistance, which is what
Mm.
you did, which makes it far easier to move forward. So thank you for sharing that. Anything you'd like to ask her, Rachel?
No, I think Solvay's actually explained that so beautifully. I think when you're working with EFT NLP and you are able to use the metaphors, it really does succinctly put things into place. And that you've explained that journey in such a beautiful way that I think we all understand how you managed to get over the steps. So butterfly wins hands down.
Yes. I'm just flying out. Stop.
You know
And
what?
just looking at you now as well, Solveig, there's no problem with you being here. You're really relaxed. You're obviously, you look like you're enjoying it. You sound like you're enjoying it, which is, if you're going to do this, you may as well enjoy it.
Yes.
Uh,
And I want to thank you two ladies for helping me. You, Rachel, for giving me the what do you call it? How to do it.
the
Mm.
skills
And
training.
you,
Skills
Tanya,
training.
for helping me working on myself, going out there, being able to actually do it.
Yeah. So, it was a case. I mean, did a little bit of coaching, really, identifying what the next step was. But once you cleared that, I did also say you could do it the sneaky way if you didn't want to face your blocks.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah, yeah. Which I did put the contingency plan in just in case, because I do like backup plans. But I think also to give credit to you for literally taking that on board, once you could see those steps very clearly defined, and there's a motivation there. And what I would like to say is, I've known you for a while, because I've gone over to Norway and run training courses many times, and I know you, and I know the beautiful energy that you have within you. So I think it'll be a very beautiful journey, you taking that out to the world. I think you've got a lot to offer there. So thank you very much for coming and joining us here, and saying about the progress that you made. And yeah, what's that saying? Go forth and prosper. I know it's Spock, innit?
I can't do that.
And well, I practiced a lot to do that. Well, just reveal I am a Trekkie. But yeah, I mean, it'd be very beautiful to see where you go with that, because it is like that butterfly, isn't it? You kind of what's the word? Metamorphosed into
Metamorphosis.
yeah. The transformation into the real you, being able to do what you want to do. And I think that'll be very beautiful to see that. So thank you very much, Solveig.
And thank you. And I was quite surprised myself, because I didn't know the result of what was going on, because I had this huge block, and there was no way I was going out there on Facebook. I was sitting with everything ready, but I didn't dare push the button to go out there, because it stopped.
Yeah. Well, probably the one thing to say is, I've heard many a person say a huge block. Yeah. But that's only a person's sense of it. It doesn't always mean how long it takes you to collapse that down, because a huge block can collapse down quite quickly.
Yeah, it was like that, really magic.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So
go on.
Well, I have been working with clients and seeing a lot of beautiful work, and a lot of like magic results. But I never got any results like this with myself before. Not in this way. So I was quite surprised. Wow, I can do it on myself too. Wow.
Building your own confidence massively as well, isn't it? And I think with that building confidence, very, very beautiful, and a really good time for that. So anything you'd like to say, Rachel, before we finish off on this beautiful little catch-up?
Very little, to be honest. I think I'm just really enjoying watching Solveig sort of blossom with this, because obviously, we did that program together, and it was more of a technical course than it wasn't than a therapy course. And I could see how much Solveig wanted to move forward on her journey, and now to see her with ease talking about this, doing this, and that transition when it happens is so fast. It really does make you wonder what the issue was, because you feel so safe suddenly doing it, don't you? And it's that safety factor of, the worries have been taken away. Suddenly it's okay to just do this now. And you do it in a way without overthinking. You just press the button and boom, it's done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like now I'm sitting wondering, did I really have those blockages?
Don't doubt that you did, obviously, because but it does make us question ourselves, because something is so simple and it works so quickly. Why is everybody not doing this?
I'll pull that back. I have the evidence you had those blocks, because I recorded that. But what I would say is, I'm going to put this in probably as the last thing before we finish here. Me and Rachel were on this call, and we just decided to give Solveig a ring. She had like 2 minutes notice, and she 2 minutes notice. How many people could just jump on a call? 2 minutes. I think she was even eating a dinner, wasn't she?
I think you were, actually, weren't you? You were tucking into your soup, weren't you?
And I think that says a lot anyway. The ability just to come straight on and just be her natural self. She didn't really know what we were going to ask her either. So I think,
well, we didn't.
You called me and asked me if my ear was burning. My ears were burning.
Yes.
And I said, no, why? Yeah, because we were talking about you.
Then here you are.
Yeah, we just got all excited. We thought, oh, why don't we bring Solveig and let's have a little chat about that, you know, because it's highly relevant to what we're doing. Because I think a lot of people will resonate with what you said. You know, I bought all this equipment, I did the training, I kind of knew the technical stuff, and still I'm over here, yeah. Because that emotional thing is also the components as well. So all elements have to be in place, really, don't they? You know, and if you don't I just think if you don't do all elements, you could actually have ended up spending a lot of money on your equipment, and it'll sit there.
And then you lose the will to carry on then, don't you? Because you stop believing in yourself, you know, and it becomes that cycle of I'm not good enough. When you are, it's just keeping the momentum going on your journey. And I think that's what we're here to do now, is to help people keep that momentum going.
And with that being said, Solveig, once you've done number 3, please do text me.
When I did what?
When you do your 3rd Facebook Live, please send me
Keeping that accountability going.
Yes, exactly. You know, I think it makes us be more committed, you know, when we've kind of agreed to something like that. It keeps us more on track, I think. Otherwise, it's a bit vague what we're saying we're going to do, isn't it? You know, and I think it can help. It can help a lot. So with that, can I say thank you very much? Anything you'd like to say, Rachel, before we finish?
Just thank you, Solveig, for coming on so last minute. I'm in awe. I think you're fabulous. Well done.
Yeah,
thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. So I will say thank you. Thank you very much.
You.
Take care for now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.